Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, son. How are we doing this morning?
All right. Trying to find missing parts and failing.
Yeah, bad.
So we were gonna start assembling the rear bumper today, so I went out in the shed and grabbed all of the pieces there. And I was looking at the diagram of what's supposed to go in there. There's another bracket that goes inside here that we don't have. And I thought I had seen that thing before, but when I went and looked back at the video where we disassembled the bumper, it wasn't in there. So we never had that piece. It's the piece that allows you to put on those little safety bumper things, whatever, that stick out like this. But it also attaches to these guys. So I don't know if it helps stabilize the bumper so it doesn't move around. That's really the only attachment point. So I'm not sure. So we'll probably see how far we can get assembly without those things, and then I'll see if I can find them somewhere. They may not be necessary if you don't have those little bumper things, and my car didn't. They have been taken off at some point, so whoever took them off probably took those brackets off too. Or when I took the car apart, they came out and I just forgot about them. That's always a possibility too. Don't know. All right, so we're opening up all the hardware that came with this thing and trying to figure everything out. And this one was labeled bumper. Came with, what was it, 9? 7? I thought it was 9. Whatever. Some number of bolts and way more nuts. That didn't make sense. And then over here we have, this was the bumper center and outer brackets. Came 4 big bolts, 4 nuts, 4 washers. Okay. And then over here, this was the spring arms and supports. We have 4 big carriage bolts and a whole lot of other stuff. So we're trying to make sense of that, and then starting to put the pieces in. I realized they didn't supply any of the carriage bolts, basically, that go in there, other than these 4. So luckily we kept the ones from the bumper before, and they weren't in terrible shape. A lot of this stuff was pretty jacked up and useless, but the carriage bolts are pretty good shape. So we just gave those a sandblast, threw some epoxy on them, and we'll stick it back together. We'll see. So we think we'll be able to put this thing together without those extra brackets. I don't think they were there to begin with. And then if we need them, we can always, I think, insert them. There's enough room to get them in there. So let's get to it. Good catch. So we realize we have to put the decorative strip on before we can put the rest of this together. The carriage bolts and things have to go through here first, and then this piece has to go on because we won't be able to access the carriage bolts anymore, and some of these will be hidden by the time we get there. So the instructions for this seem pretty simple. You just put, these are all carriage bolts, tighten these down to lock the carriage bolts into the aluminum. Then you take all these back off, put the strip back on, stick it on the bumper. All right, give this a try here. Let me squeeze through there here on the back. And so we put all of the carriage bolts in to decide what the center is. Here. All right. Okay. And then we start. I'm gonna set that right down top of all of this stuff here. And set it down now. I think for the bigger holes we'll do the lock washers, or the flat washers too. Okay, I'm using the wrong washers.
You want these? You want lock washers now?
Yeah, the big holes need both, so that's okay. So put one of each. I think there's only one hole that doesn't need a flat washer, all the rest do. Is the flat washer still up there?
I have one here.
No, they're on top of the thing behind you.
Yeah.
Can you get them?
No.
Thanks. That one came loose.
What's this guy doing? Yeah.
Oh, it fell off. Good job. We can't lose the carriage bolts. That one stayed roughly where it was supposed to go. Have to remember that. Make sure that doesn't fall out of there. All right. Surface there. Not all of them?
Well, I don't want to bend this yet.
Yep. Okay. Guess we can tighten these down.
I don't know where that's there.
There you go. Start in the center, work our way out. Looks good. Anyway, you get the idea. Let's do the rest of those. All right, it's time to bend these around the corner. I don't know if I should be tightening all of these up before I do that. Yeah, can't do that yet. Got a little ahead of myself. These have to be a little bit loose because we have to bend it out of the way to get it to go around the corner.
Okay, got it.
I'll loosen that.
That's loose.
Yep. See if it's enough. You said this stuff bends easily.
Not in the hole there. Big hole there.
It's pretty easy. Can you come over here and help me with this? You're missing a nut. Oh, you want to do that?
No, okay.
Either way.
We'll put both on?
Let's do the top one first. Then we can...
You want both of these though?
Yes. Right there. You did that backwards.
Why?
That one goes on the top.
Fingers in there.
Just finger tight. Did you cross thread that?
I think so. What's going on?
All right, that was pretty easy.
And then a cap goes on here?
And then they come with these little caps to go on the end to cover up all the stuff there. So that seems to be it. Have all the carriage bolts in. So I'm tightening it all down. So these outside edges were giving us a little trouble of this thing wanting to not sit down inside the groove. So put some clamps on it, which I think helped. You see it's still not sitting down in the groove right there, but whatever. It's on the bottom. This thing is kind of not great around that corner there, but we beat on it with a mallet, did the best we could. But that looks pretty sharp, huh?
Yeah, it does. I think the corners, the aluminum strip was bent when you got a little bit. I bet that's here.
Could be. That's pretty good. I'm not going to complain about
No, it
that.
looks good.
Certainly looks better than the ones we took off of there.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so that's going to do it for today. We'll pick it up next time. Hopefully we'll have the rest of the brackets and stuff so we can assemble one bumper at least. And then we'll be ready to go on the next one. Hope so. Yeah.
Yeah, so we gotta take a look here, see, like you were bending before, we're gonna make sure we straighten it out completely so it doesn't
Well,
get.
this is the one that
out.
was bent.
Yeah,
It came shipped with a bend in it, which is lame. But it's got most of the bend out, so I think we're okay. And then I gotta. Oh, yeah, the other thing we noticed was the front hardware kit comes with carriage bolts.
yeah,
But the rear didn't. So we only have one carriage bolt left. Hopefully we won't need any more because that one came with everything it needed. So we should be good to go to assemble everything, I think. Yeah. All right. Anyway.
so like an hour or two on this one, minus the rubber that goes underneath, whether we have it or not.
What? On this one?
Yeah,
There's no rubber under this. What do you mean?
I thought we had a piece between here and the car.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I don't have those yet. So
Right.
I think those mount to the car, not to the bumper.
Right, so I mean, we can assemble this within about 2 hours, I'm saying right here.
Yep.
Get to go on that one. You have the parts for that, another 3 hours now because we know what we're doing.
We'll see. Yeah. All right.
Damn, we're close.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. We will see you on the next one, sir.
Yep.
Pops wanted a shot of this outside, so here we go.
Yeah, you get that nice paint coming through the flex.
Yep. It's pretty. That paint job came out pretty nice. There's a little bit of trash here and there, but man, it looks pretty good. Cannot wait to get the car out in the sun again. All assembled.
With me sitting in it.
That's
get some
right.
pictures in.
You happy with this?
Yeah, I'm done.
I mean, are you happy with this?
I'm very happy.
Okay, good.
It was professional.
Good. Get lost. All right, here we are. Day 2.
Date. I'm in day 2004.
Oh, that too.
It
But
reminds me of when I was a kid in Sweden, go to the movies. At the end of almost every movie we say, El Fin.
yes.
Finished.
Yes. Fine.
Well, yeah, why not? Well, in French, it's El Fin. Finished. So I'm wondering when I can say El Fin to this car.
Never.
Exactly. All right, here we are. Let's go.
There'll always be something else to do.
We have almost all the parts still coming in the mail.
Yeah. So we still can't finish.
Yeah.
But
the damage for sure, the 2 bumpers still except for those.
well, I'd prefer not to damage them, but
I don't mean damage in terms of time and work.
make progress. So we'll go ahead and assemble the bumper today. Probably we'll put it on the car. We can't finish it because we don't have all the trim pieces, and I don't think those are going to be easy to put on after the bumper's on. But we'll see. But at least get it all together, and then we've got to do this treatment on the front bumper. And same thing, we can probably assemble it, but not permanently mount. That one we may be able to, because the front bumper sticks out so far from the car, we may be able to reach all this stuff. We'll see. But,
Don't forget to tell about the hole you covered up.
oh yeah. I realized as I was looking at the back of the car, there's supposed to be a hole here for the trim to go into, and I covered it up somewhere along the way. It's supposed to be like that. So I've got to map that out and drill that. And then I also don't have these little retainers. I'm hoping I can buy those. I think you can. Little plastic push pins that go in there. But let's get to work. We found the assembly manual. So we got all the nice expanded blow-ups of how all this stuff goes together. So you want to get started on this?
Yep.
All right. They only gave me 4 of those big rubber washers. Sealing washer number 7, which appears to go on the inside of the car. Yeah, they have 4 per side. Is that right? No, they don't have them on the bottom ones for some reason. Okay. And maybe you only need 4. I don't know why you'd only need them on the top. Oh, that's right, because the bottom ones are outside the car. These go into the trunk, so you need to seal those, but not these. Okay, perfect. All right, I think that's a good camera angle. So according to the diagram, assuming that's correct, so this is going to go on here like so. Again, the top 2 positions go into the trunk, the bottom 2 don't. Oh, this thing is really stuck on there. Got this push washer on here that we have to figure out how to deal with. Not sure what the story is there. What purpose that serves, so I got to figure that out. I was just thinking, why is this on the outside? What purpose does this serve? I'm going to study the diagram again, because I don't really understand what that does. So that would sit all the way down there, and so what? Like, what does that do? I don't know. So we're going to come back and look at that, but we have the sealing washers here, rubber, and then the pressure washer here, so we'll go there.
I get it.
All of this stuff came from AMK. Like I said, I bought the whole body fastener kit. I got it there. So everything came with that. So basically these things are going to go here, and this goes on the inside, then the washer, then the nut.
Hold on a minute.
But I need to figure out what the purpose of that push washer is. Doesn't look like it does anything. So go check that out again. Okay, so I think I had that wrong from the picture. So the push washers go on these 2 bolts here. I think it's just to hold them in place so they don't fall off. So this just goes straight on, so nothing special there. So this guy, I'll just put him there, and then this will go around the inside. Barely have access to that in the corner there. And then this guy. And then a nut. Don't need this. Yeah, that. Yeah, I was telling Pops earlier, I wasn't sure how all this was going to go together, if I needed to put some RTV or something on that inside there, but that's what those sealing washers are for. So don't need that. Okay, just lock that in place, get a wrench for that. If that fits. Nope. Got extension. Bottom now.
Out of them.
That's all I need is bees. I gotta call a bee guy or gal out to get them out of there. Don't want to hurt them, just don't want them building a nest in my house. All right, so we're starting to put all the brackets together here. This is different than the assembly manual. Looks like in the assembly manual they want you to bolt everything to the car and then put the bumper on at the end, but that would be very difficult with all of these things in here. But we're just noticing that trying to put this back together, these holes really don't line up all that well here. Kind of surprising. I think it'll be okay. But, you know, like that one's really tight right there, so we'll have to thread them through to get them to go. Same thing over here. This one's same story. I haven't checked these here, but... so that's that. So we'll put all this here, put the springs on, and then as long as we have enough room to feed these through after the springs are on, then it's fine. If we don't, then it'll be a little more tricky, but we just get all those brackets installed there. All right, so issue we have here is trying to get this guy back in the hole. If you put this side in first, then this is nowhere close. This one went in okay. So I'm going to try sticking a screwdriver in here and just putting a little tension on that spring and hopefully getting it to fall in there. So I'll put this on camera. As I said to Pops, this will either work like a charm or I'll lose a finger. Hopefully not the ladder. Hopefully that just pops right in. If that would go, oh, of course that doesn't want to go in there. Not enough.
You went?
Look at that.
Good thinking.
No problem. All right, easy enough. All right, so now just bolt all this together. This was the one question of can you assemble this, and plenty of room to get in there and do that, so that shouldn't be an issue. So we should be able to put all this together and then drop it on the car. All right, we're gonna attempt to lift it on there. You ready to go?
Yep, I'll take this in, okay?
Okay. Again, this is probably going to come off again so that we can put all the trim pieces on, but I just want to see what it looks like. Heavier than it was.
Yeah.
Gonna go out and around.
Yeah.
So all we have to do is line up those pins on those holes.
This is half the length of a new car.
I know.
Oh,
Right on.
that hole, right?
Right. Let me get mine first.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm good. That's it. That's it. Scoop. Not all the way. Now it is.
So the pieces we're missing will cover this.
Yep. I think that's kind of snazzy.
Yeah.
That's probably sitting a little low because we're gonna have it tightened. Yeah. Oh,
What?
I was gonna get the ratchet and stuff out of there, but so we'll put one bolt in just to see what it looks like. All right, so we just put one bolt in there, but that sucked it up pretty nicely. It's still a little low on that side, but I think that's pretty sexy. I was telling Pops a couple of weeks ago, I wasn't sure if I was always going to be thinking back on this, thinking, man, I wish those had been chromed. Like, am I ever going to like this? Because I wanted them chromed. But I like it. It looks good. Now that it's together, I like it. No arguments.
Nope.
Now, an interesting one I was just telling Pops. Roger, Mr. Fireman, was just talking about in his last video about his Camaro and starting to do body work and stuff on it and trimming the drip rails off and all this stuff that's in
Right.
fashion right now, right? He said he's not going to do any of that stuff because those fashions go out of fashion.
Exactly.
And I hadn't really thought about it that much on this car, but one of the big things on it was the bumpers, right? The big fashion right now is to cut these bumpers and suck them in tight so
Right.
they look more like a modern bumper.
Right.
And I didn't do that just because I didn't feel like it. But now that I think about it, I think that's a good point because in 10 years, everybody's going to know exactly when that car was done. Because when did that fad start, right? It's,
Right.
You know, I don't know, 5 years ago or something, whatever, when everybody started doing that.
What's wrong with this?
Nothing,
Exactly.
right? But so, you know, it dates your car, right?
Yeah.
So there's nothing about this car that looks dated except, you know, maybe the wheels. But you can change the wheels, right?
Well, I look at this one. We've worked on it for longer than 10 years, and the milestone you're looking for 10 years from now. If they want to date it, look at the board, start ascending.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll give it to copy free.
But that is a good point. You know, if we'd bought a whole bunch of like aluminum billet stuff and things that was like really, really popular 10
Right.
years ago,
Right.
then you know, by the time the car hits the road, it's already dated.
Yeah.
Or it's even worse.
It's like all the new trucks and stuff with all the chrome, right? Back to the 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so
I like this. I would have gone for chrome too, like you earlier, but this looks really nice against that black.
yeah, it definitely sits nice. I like it. So thank you, Roger. That was good advice, even though I hadn't thought about it before, but looks like I was kind of following your advice before you gave me that advice. That's the best kind of advice, right?
Yes, it is.
All right, anyway, that looks pretty good. We were just trying to see if you can fit the trim pieces in here, and no, you can't. So I don't have those yet, so we'll just leave this here for now, but it's going to have to come back off to put all the trim pieces up in there. But now we can start in the front bumper, or,
Yes. What?
or call it a day.
It's up to you.
I'm fine. I'm hot, but It's kind of, it's muggy today, but it's not that hot. It's just
I
muggy.
think we should put that strip on at least.
Okay, let's
Okay?
do that then.
Put the rubber board on.
All right,
Otherwise, we'll never get done.
that's true. All right, so we laid all the brackets out here to see where they go because we have to put all the bolts in first before that trim strip goes on. So I just marked them all, marked all the holes with masking tape. So we know where to put all these bolts. So we'll put all the bolts in and then we'll get that strip on. All right, there's that. It takes a long time to get all this thing settled in the right place and everything. This side's not as good as the other side, but it is what it is. I'm gonna put some brackets on.
Put some on, go on.
All right, let's put some brackets on.
All greens, I mean,
Yeah?
I feel we did good. Put in a full day here.
Yep.
Couple of things to go, 2 braces.
Yep. This is ready to go on the car.
Yep.
So we just need the trim pieces up here and then that can go on the car. And then we're about to,
Trim pieces in the back and
and the bumpers are done. Exciting.
move on to bigger things like paint the trunk.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. We'll get there.
Yeah, it's all good. All right, you have a fantastic day. Relax, okay?
Yeah, you too. Thank you, sir.
We'll do it.
Have a good one.
Yeah.